Welcome to THALIR. This is a place called Bud. This is budding forth for a new life, and we are Capuchins working for the renewal of the society and the church.
Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, welcome to THALIR Capuchin Online Ministries from Solanas KC Animation Center, Viluppuram in India. This is part of Visit, the virtual institute for skills, integrity, and transformation. In this week, we'll be dealing with the sessions on leadership, second part. We'll be dealing with motivation and goal setting, decision making and discernment, time management matrix, and multitasking. All these will be dealt by Fr.Francis P. Xavier, Jesuit priest, and followed by 20-60-20 rule in administration and self-care for leaders dealt by Dr. Wilson, YFM Capuchin. We have also other international trainings programs offered by this institute for the secretaries on skills development program in 2 parts, for the teachers on capacity building and faculty development program, and for the social work directors on project management, fundraising, and also for those in midlife on midlife transition, physical, psychosocial, spiritual well-being. We have also a series of trainings for novices who are preparing for their vows, and for the junior religious who are preparing for the final vows. We also have ongoing formation programs for the religious men and women all through the year. You are most welcome to make the best use of it. Today, I am happy to welcome for this week's program for the Dr. Francis P. Xavier, Jesuit, and Dr. Sundar Wilson, YFM Cap. Here comes the experts.
I want to start this evening with happy feast to all the Franciscans and many congregations and many congregations following the Franciscan spirituality area. I wish you a happy feast. And the talks today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow would be going in depth about time management. If you want to give a scenario, I would like to give this scenario. Suppose you know the athletic, when people are getting ready for a 100-meter dash or 200-meter dash, and the umpire says, on your mark, get set, go. So I think these talks today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow would be based on this. Today will be on your mark. That means what you need to achieve anything is motivation and goal setting. Then tomorrow would be get set. That is, you need a determination and discernment to go forward. And on Wednesday will be going and getting it. That is the time matrix as well as the multitasking. With this introduction, I would like to start that the time management is personal management. It's not simply doing things or achieving things, multiplication of words. It is how you are able to manage yourself in time. That's why I put it, time management is personal management. So today I will have 3 sections or 3 points to ponder about: creating time for everything, and motivation and goal setting. They're interconnected. And as I said, it is like a track event where you are on your mark, get set, and go. When we talk about managing time, There are 168 hours in every week. And you need time to sleep, to do exercise, to prepare for your work, teaching or learning, or you want to do some shopping, you want to spend time with your people, or you want to spend time with meetings and other works you do, and also you would like to take rest, hobby, exercise, travel time, playing, any number of things you have. But how are you going to do all these things? All of us have only 24 hours a day, and you have to do all you want within the 24 hours. And there are also some myths about time management. One of the things in my series of talks is to break these myths. Sometimes people think, oh, time management is not anything. Just use your common sense and everything will be all right. I used it in my school days and I will be able to do that. But as you come day by day, you find it difficult. Or the other way is, whatever I do, I am not able to do that. So I am under pressure all the time. And some people will think if I try to do all that I want or all I have to do, I don't have any fun in my life. So it is a burden for me. So I make a distinction between time management and personal management. Time management is to do, to achieve, to get things done. Personal management is how you are. Are you energetic? Are you smart enough to do the work? So, where do you put your weight on this? You should be energetic and you should be able to do that. So, it is your ability. Otherwise, time management is not simply to do. You can always say who can do that, what could be done, how one does it, or when to be done. It becomes mechanical. You are talking about efficiency or impact is mostly external temporal work. But to be means your attitude, your relationship building, your values, especially ethical values, that gives you the satisfaction that we call it effectiveness. What is your influence on the people? The work you do is done, is gone, but your influence people will remember for a long time to come. For this, you need clear vision. Without clear vision, you cannot have concrete mission. So don't jump on the mission without having a vision. Vision is from the person and the mission is the work you do. So you have to make it very clear where from you are starting, how you are going, where do you end up there. So for all these things, the person matters because the inner dynamic spirit or inner energetic ability that decides what you could do externally. So it is the inner energy that spills out as the action. So I will be concentrating more on the inner energy, how you can grow in that, how you can do a better job of that. We would like to have time for anything. Deuteronomy would say, a time for everything. I think Book of Proverbs. There is time for everything. There is a time to sow. There is a time to reap. There is a time to sing. There is a time to play and time to work. So how do you create time for everything? Sometimes you may have to do. You have to juggle around a few tips for that. But if you can decide what is it that only I can do, then you are on the right track. You cannot do all the work that you want. You cannot do all the work that is given to you. You, just like anybody else, have only 24 hours. So if you can decide what is it only I can do, which others cannot do, then that will be the first thing that you decide on to be clear about. And if you can do that, then you are already on the track for personal management. Our great leaders, they have achieved a lot, but they achieved because they are self-leaders. They have the self-leadership. If you can manage yourself, you can manage anybody else. If you can manage others, you can manage things and you can manage time. So the starting point is, am I able to manage myself? Am I able to understand myself? Do I know what are my shortcomings? Do I know what I can do, what I cannot do? Because don't waste your time on things that you cannot do. And then you have to see and decide between doing things right or doing the right thing. Choose what is the right thing, whether it is ethical value or what work only you can do, then you are doing things. If you start doing everything that comes on the way, then you are in trouble for. This could be summarized in one thing, the question that is raised by Keller and Papasan in their bestseller book. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? What is that? So one thing, so he says, live empty. Empty, the each letter he gives that one. Live empty means have the focus on what it is most important for you. The E stands for ethics. That is the dynamic principles we need. Then you have the peace of mind. The second one is the mission. You have to define the mission. If you are not planning to do things, then you are not going to do. Our failure is mostly by planning. If you do the right planning, you are able to do. So have a clarity of the mission with the timeline. And the third one is relationship building. No one is an island, and you cannot achieve things by yourself. The relationship is the one that gives you strength, not only manpower to do the work, but moral courage that people are with me. Whatever I do, people will walk with me. Then the task at present, concentrate on the work that you are doing. That is doing the work with consciousness. I will come back to this later. And finally, you have to concentrate on you because you need to have ongoing formation. Whatever you do, you may have long years of formation. We Jesuits have 14 to 16 years formation. Still, we find we are not adequate to do certain things. So, do we have the spirit of learning more? I always say a teacher is a professional student. I think that is applicable to us in our mission also. The another concept that we should have is it doing or achieving things, or you concentrate on your energy. The energy is very important. We need energy to do anything. So you should be able to know and decipher what is your energy diagram or what is your energy level. All of us are not fresh at the same time. Some feel fresh in the morning, some afternoon after a little siesta, or some after a walk or a game in the evening, or some after supper. So find out what is the time you are most energetic. That time you take the work that is more difficult or more productive. You should schedule your task according to that. Don't think that morning I have to do big work, afternoon light work, evening lighter work, and night I just watch TV or paper. This may be applicable to somebody, but what is your energy level? You may be a morning person, so then start working in the morning. Your study, your assignments, or you may be an evening person. Then make sure that you do the work in the evening. So you should know what is your energy diagram, what is your level of energy at what time. But at the same time, you need sufficient rest and sleep. You also need time to spend time with the people. Some people think if I sit late night and work longer, I may be able to do, but that is going to tell on your health. That is the best way to sabotage your energy level. So don't follow this. Find out what is your energy level. So once you are able to do this, then the second part of my talk is motivation. What is it that gives you the dynamic or propelling spirit for you? Now, in the plane, before it takes off, the propeller starts running, and the propeller runs and sucks the air in front and creates a vacuum. Therefore, the plane goes inside. The motivation is like that. What is the energy you have? This energy we have some the so-called subconscious, which has got enormous amount of energy. It is like a fountain that comes out with force. It is like a volcano. The volcano is something you see it comes out with a lot of energy, but you don't know where it was coming from. So our subconscious is like that. It gives you force from within and it will flow towards the destination. The subconscious can give you enormous amount of energy. It comes at a time where the emergency comes. 2 days ago, you read in a paper somebody was stranded in the sea. For 18, 20 days, he was there without having anything to eat. And somewhere there was an earthquake. People pulled out a man after 27 days alive because he had that energy. I want to live. You have energy only. We need not use it only with the emergency time. All the time you can use it. And I give you some examples. I may not explain all. For example, Denzing, Edison, Michelangelo, Abdul Kalam, Barack Obama, they had the inner urge to be unique and to achieve and to excel. They say Denzing, when he was a little boy in Tibet, used to admire Mount Everest and imagine if I could only stand on the Mount Everest, how beautiful the world would be. That was in his subconscious. That gave him energy that made him climb up the first person on to Everest. Edison, the first day when he went to school, when he came back, he brought a small slip of paper from his teacher. The teacher wrote on the paper, never again send this boy to school. 2 reasons. He asks too many questions. Second, he is hard of hearing. Edison is a fellow who learned by himself. He had more than 1,000 patents, both in the US and Europe. We remember that he is the one who discovered the electric bulb. That also he did about 900 experiments. Nothing was working. His assistant said, Mr. Edison, why don't we stop? Mr. Edison said, we know what doesn't work. We don't know what works. Keep going. Eventually, he found out. So this could be said on anyone, like Abdul Kalam. The first project of his, the rocket was a total failure. When he was crestfallen, the project director said, Kalam, study why it went wrong. And he writes in his book, Wings of the Fire, we can learn more from failures than from success. All the time, what is important is, what is my motivation? What is it that I want to achieve? All of us have dream, but feed the dream with strong desire. It's not enough to dream once. Abdul Kalam would say, dream big, but try to achieve the dream. So you have a strong desire, and then you have the willpower. I will get it, like Denzing. He was climbing about 50 times. The last but one time he was about to reach, but it was called off because of the inclement weather. He told Mount Everest, it seems, today you win, tomorrow I will win. And the next day he won. So that willpower takes you to the action. Only then you come to the time frame. So as you see, time management is one of the last ones that you worry about. If you take care of the other things, time management is only a child's play. So a person should have a vision, and from the vision, the mission comes, the motivation and other things comes in between. So now coming to the subconscious. The subconscious is an infinite intelligence. You can achieve more with less. It is a loyal and smart servant for you. It doesn't sleep. It is awake all the time. And it is an efficient research assistant. When you have a problem, people tell you, sleep over. Literally sleep over, because subconscious tries to find out the solution. And the 80-20 rule, I will come to that shortly. With 20% of your efforts, 80% of the outcome you can get. And it is an excellent monitor. It will remind you what to do. If you have forgotten something to do, it will remind you. You just to be aware of that. And it has got enormous ability to solve problem. That is the power within you. Most of you would have read this bestseller novel, The Alchemist. The point there is the power is within. Only thing you have to make use of it. And the power of the subconscious is nothing but wake up the sleeping lion within. There is a lion within you. You wake it up. When it's needed, you use it. Suppose if you want to run, you feel lazy, but somebody is following you, or some mad dog runs after you, you will be able to run kilometer after kilometer. You have the power. Only thing, we don't use it. And the Tibetan monks, they are living about 5,000 meters in the Himalayas. They can just sit down in the Himalayas with their just the habit they have. They can raise the body temperature by 8 degrees centigrade or 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Harvard University professors did research on that. They say they practice some kind of yoga, but the thing is, you have infinity energy. And subconscious is an information processing machine. Whether you observe or not, whether you are aware of it or not, it codifies, it stores energy, and it gives you when you need it. It is doing the serial and parallel processing. Serial processing is one work after another. Parallel means doing too many things at the same time. You are preparing for a meeting in a week's time. You have to submit an assignment in 2 weeks' time, or you have to make a travel after a month's time, or tomorrow you have to meet somebody. All these things you have to plan. Leave it to the subconscious. That will do that. But you concentrate on what is the present. You be conscious of what you do, the subconscious will do. Just to tell the subconscious, please get this one ready and periodically check what is the progress. You will see miracle will happen. Because the subconscious is the origin and powerhouse of multitasking. You may read some books saying multitasking is a myth. I believe multitasking, you can do that if you practice. Now, this is what I said, 80-20 rule. This is called Pareto principle. The Italian economist gave this one. He would say that 20% of the people in the world would own 80% of the properties. And if you take any big company, the 80% of the income will come from 20% of the big clients. In the same way, we can do with 20% of the efforts, we can make 80% of the results. You can do conscious efforts, but subconscious efforts also. And in life, you would have noticed 20% of the people will be giving you 80% of the support, especially in the religious life. And sometimes we read journals one after the other, but 20% of the journal will give you 80% of the information. Why do you need more? And you can notice you make a list of doing things. Most of the time, only 20% of the results you achieve. So you just cramp your work list, but you are not able to do that. And following this, if you know what is the work only you can do, and what is the priority, then you can do in 20% of the time, you can achieve 80% of the work. This is the secret of the time management. Priority. What is it only you can do? How you get planning and energy from the subconscious. Then you did only 20% of the time. The rest of the time you can do more work. The same thing is you can avoid about 80% of the unnecessary interruptions, and you can do a lot of work, and then you can also do lot of filed up matters. You don't look into that. So there is no point in keeping it for tomorrow. Do it today, finish it. That will be, you will be happy about that. And about 20% of our activities will give you 80% of the happiness. If you know what are the activities, you know what to do that. And if you have just 20% of the passion in any work, you will possess that work 80%. If you want to read more, I have given that quotation of the book. You're most welcome to read that one. Now I am going to give you a little story or a little anecdote. It is from the coffee bean. We are making coffee every day, and what we learn from that. Lot of obstacles will come, lot of challenges will come. You plan one thing but doesn't happen, and you set deadlines you are not able to meet. So a young lady one day came to her mother and said, "Mom, my life is very miserable and hard. I don't know how to manage things. What can I do?" The mother said, "See, life is full of ups and downs. It is not the events, but how you perceive it, how you react to that, that matters. Because event is event. It will not affect you unless you perceive in a different way. So how you perceive, how you react, that motivates towards." Now I begin a little story here. You see that the mother told the daughter, "You take carrot, egg, and coffee bean." And then he said, "Put 3 pots of water over the fire. And then what you do is, in one, you put some carrots. In the other, in the second pot, you put some eggs. And then in the third one, you put some coffee beans, which has been grounded into coffee powder. So heat all of them. What happens? You wait for some time, and then all the 3 are boiling for about 15 minutes, and then take out what you put in. And what you find? The carrot, before it was put in the water, was hard. But now they have become soft when you put in the boiling water. The eggs, it was soft inside before it was put into the water. Now after that, with a hard boiled egg, it has become hard inside. And the coffee powder, it has disappeared. It was not coffee anymore. The water has taken the color, and you get the wonderful smell of the coffee. But what happened? All the thing you put in the same water, and you did the same heating, and what happens? The same way, think about the life. It's not easy, true, but it's not comfortable, it's true. Sometimes it is very hard. All of us have this one, but life is what you make of it. How you understand, how do you deal with that, how do you try to relate to events, that makes the very difference. So things may not happen as you wish. People may not treat you as you hope, but we work hard. Sometimes we get results, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we get a lot of results. Depends on the values. What is the value? Your dying father gave his son, "This is the watch that my grandfather had it. Then my father gave me, before I die, I give to you." Then what you do, you go to the nearby then watch shop and find out how much they will buy this for. So the fellow went and came back and said, Dad, they're ready to give $5 for this watch. Then he said, okay, you go to the other end of the street, there is ice cream parlor and find out how much is worth. He went and came back, they are saying $2. And then he said, okay, the next street, there is a museum. Go and find out what is the worth. The boy came running, Dad, they are ready to offer $1 million. Then he said, the worth is when you know the value. So this is what we have to learn for ourselves. When things go difficult, when we are not able to make things, what is the worth that we have about ourselves? Not what others say, what I feel about that. So think about the parts. The boiling water is like the problems in life that we are not able to do a lot of things. But we can be like the carrots. We go in tough and strong, but we are beaten up in the life events. We are not able to meet the deadlines. We plan a lot. We over promise, under deliver. We come out soft, discouraged, and weak. So we don't want to be like this carrot because we get easily tired, we lose hope, we give up, and there is no more fighting spirit in us. We don't like to be the carrots. On the other hand, would you like to be like the eggs? Because the live egg starts with a soft and sensitive heart. But the life events makes us become hard. There is no feeling inside. We become hard-hearted people, and we sometimes have ill feelings against others. We hate others. We become hard-hearted, and there is no warm feeling in us. Only bitterness that we have. You want to be like the eggs? We don't want to be like the eggs. Would you like to be like the coffee beans? Because in the case of the coffee bean, the water does not change the coffee powder. The coffee powder changes the water. The whole characteristic of the coffee is taken from the coffee powder, and once the coffee is made, the water has become different. Because now it is not water, it is a coffee. We can see it, we can smell it, we can taste it, we can drink it. The hotter the water is, the better the taste. So in life, just because we are not able to do things, we don't get discouraged. The tougher life is, the more we become encouraging and we are able to do that. So we can be like the coffee beans. We make something good from the difficult situation. We always learn new things from life. We don't get discouraged, but we are able to do much more than what we wanted to do, and we are able to achieve more than what we wanted to do. This all because we are not concentrating on time and work. We are concentrating our inner feelings, our inner strength, how we can do that. So we have to acquire new knowledge, new skills, new abilities. We grow in experience, and that experience gives us how we make the world around us better. Now, to succeed, we can try again, and we must believe in what we are doing. Only thing, don't give up when the difficulties come, when the problems come, be patient. Keep pushing. Nobody else will come with you. You have to push on your own, and at some point, you realize you are able to overcome anything. You can fly high, and problems or difficulties, they create chance for you to become stronger, better, and tougher. So much depends on who you are in order to do whatever things you want to do. So what are we like when things do not go well? We don't want to be carrot, we want to be egg, we want to be the coffee bean, and the coffee bean is the one that makes aroma, that brings joy,
Father?
I think there is a network issue, Father.
Yes. Thomas? In the meantime, I'd like to inform all the participants, most of you are an important post. This is, I took for granted this is a second time, but some are new. Dear fathers, brothers and sisters, this is a leadership training, second part, and it's a continuation of what has been done earlier. We'll continue. We'll have 1 hour, after we'll have interactions. So, Father Francis Xavier, you can continue.
Advance one until.
Oh, okay. How do you clean it?
Advance one until. Advance one until. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. In the goal setting, your energy is taken over. As I said, like a volcano, the motivation is something that is coming from a fountain, that is the inner force that leads to an external destination. So the motivation gives you the inner dynamic force and it sets the goal and to reach externally. So the destination, you should be clear what to achieve and how to accomplish. And this goal could be major and minor goals. You see the rockets, when the rocket is taken off, it goes in stages. The big thing that is taken off from the earth, within a few seconds, it falls down. Then the long cylindrical thing goes for a long way, and then after some time that also falls down. Then the third, what we call the payload, that is the one that reaches the one. So take your major goal, make it into smaller goals. Suppose you are writing a book. You want to do it in a year's time, then can you write 1 chapter a month? There is plenty of time for you. Or you have your assignment, which has to be turned in a week's time. Either you can sit in 2 days and finish it, but if you have too many works, have at least 1 hour a day. You can do that. Reading part of it, reflecting part of it, draft part of it, then the final copy. So this helps you to do more. For this, you should know your strength and limitations. Your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, your challenges. Once again, it goes back to your inner energy, your inner motivation that you will do. And this goal has to be SMART, that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. It has to be specific role. If you want to do, for example, you want to read a book, then first of all, you should be able to say, how long? We're not going to read it for a year, maybe a month. Okay, then your success progress should be measurable. Can you finish 1 week, 1 quarter of a book? Whether it is achievable. Suppose you don't have absolute time, then don't plan on doing that. And that it should be realistic. When you are traveling constantly, you may not be able to do some certain things, and then only comes time bound. So this is SMART goal, be specific, make it into smaller portions, and make sure that you are able to achieve. That gives you more encouragement. Be realistic. Don't plan, I will read 10 books a month. It's not going to happen. You know your strength, you know your weakness. Depending on that, you do. Another thing is visualize the mental picture. As I said, Densing was visualizing is standing on Mount Everest. And Edison was visualizing the bulb, how it will burn. Then you achieve the goal, your subconscious energy comes in to do the rest of it. You believe in your ability. The dream will unfold. But now and then you may have to revise your goal. Don't worry about that. 1/3 of the professionals, they change their professions in life, whether doctors or engineers or scientists. Nothing wrong in that. Try to redefine the goal. Don't get discouraged, but go ahead with that. So you have the choice whether you do what you like or you like what you do. You may not be able to do all the time what you like, but you can always like what you do, what you are asked to do. That gives you the constant and sustaining efforts. The renewal of interest is very important. You know, this Honda two-wheeler is supposed to be very famous. Mr. Honda was a mechanic. After working 10, 15 years, he developed a piston that is more efficient. So I went to the company, I said, I have developed a better efficient piston. The company said, you are after all a mechanic, we don't want to buy that thing from you. After going to many companies, he started his own company. He was thriving in business. Then Second World War came in Japan. His company was erased to the earth. He was not discouraged. He started all over again. And you know, Japan is known for earthquake. After some time, his whole company was lost in the earthquake. Honda started again and he made it. So the sustaining effort is important. You may have energy, you may have motivation, you may have goal, but what is important is your sustaining effort. Every now and then you may have to review or revise your goal. You need fine tuning. You have immediate work or some work that can be done later. You have an exam, you have a paper due, you have two deadlines. That one deadline, what they have set, one deadline, what you do for yourself. Your deadline should be earlier, then you are able to do that. And you have meetings. Sometimes unexpected meetings will come. Sometimes meeting may be cancelled. Be prepared for both. Be flexible. Your work schedule may change. Suddenly a visitor would come. You cannot say, no, you have not made appointment. You prepare your own schedule, at the same time be prepared for any eventuality. To help this, you have a preview and review each day. When you get up in the morning, just to plan what you are going to do that day, then subconscious will take over and gives you enormous insight, energy, planning for you. At the end of the day, review. It may not take more than 5-10 minutes. What have you done? Have you done it all right? If you are not done all right, okay, next day you can do. This is the best way to monitor the progress. This is the best way when you have to fine tune your goal. So also you can every now and then preview the upcoming week. On the first day of the week, what are this week I have enough, what are the works to do? The same thing you do in the beginning of the month, what are the things we do? That's what you have the monthly recollection in the religious house. And then you take efforts for that. Nothing is free. In the US, they say there is no free lunch. If someone gives you lunch, that means they expect something from you. There is a man who was got fed up in the world. I am working all the time. I am going to do penance. So he went and sat in the forest and he felt hungry. So he said, what do you do? So he went to the nearby village and asked the people something to eat. People are generous and gave. So every day he used to go and beg food and was eating. But one day he saw a fox nearby, very fat fox, but the fox did not have both the front legs. The fellow said, how come the fox doesn't have both the legs? How it is fat? Where does it get the food from? One day when he was coming from the village, he saw a lion bringing a big piece of meat to the fox and giving the fox. So the lion used to come every day bringing the meat for the fox. And this fellow, being afraid of the lion, was hiding behind the tree and saw that one. So nice idea came. If fox could get daily meal, why should I go to the village and do it? So I am going to sit here. Somebody is going to bring meals for me. So he sat down. First day, nothing happened. He managed. Second day, he felt a little tired, but nobody brought food. Third day, he was almost fainting. Then somebody came and said, what is happening to you? Then he narrated the story. And that fellow said, why do you want to be like the fox? Why don't you be like the lion? Why do you always want to receive? Why don't you be like the lion? Go and help somebody. Don't wait to receive. Take efforts. Efforts is important, more important than knowing. So you should know where to make an effort. In your life, it makes all the difference. I am reminded of the story that a big ship was about to leave the harbor. The engine was not starting. The captain was upset. He brought in lot of engineers. Nobody could be able to do that. And then finally, one very old fellow came and said, I can do it. Then he said, are you sure? He said, I think so. So he let him, he went 2-3 times, he went around the machine, took a small hammer and hit on one corner of the engine, and the engine started. The captain was very happy. Thank you very much. Now, what is the bill? The old man said, $1,000 for this. And the captain was furious. Just hitting the machine by a small hammer, you are charging $1,000. Can you give the itemized bill? He said, sure. He wrote, to know where the problem is, $999. Hitting the machine, $1. So that is the lesson. If you know where to hit, things will go all right. So no need of wasting your time. Your subconscious will do that. And people are there. For example, Jessica Cox, she's a pilot in the US. She doesn't have both the hands from birth. But she's a flying pilot. She operates everything with the leg. And you might have heard about this Olympian gold medalist, Oscar Pistorius or Jonathan Peacock. They don't have their real legs, they're amputees, but still they could win. If you have the power within and if you work for it, you will get it. I like to recommend this book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. The seagull is a flappy bird, doesn't do any work, but one bird wanted to fly faster and faster, farther and farther, higher and higher. By practice and little encouragement, it was able to fly like the eagle. So you can do if you want. So I would like to end my first talk on creating time for all you have, for creating the motivation within yourself through your subconscious, because nobody else can motivate you, and then setting the goal. Tomorrow, we would work out how you determine how to go about. So with that, I thank you very much for your listening.